Welcome back to Stay in Your Lane with Ashlee Battersbee.
Good day, beautiful people, and welcome back to another edition of Stay in Your Lane, the first episode of 2024. As always, we have Chairman Lister here with us. Welcome, Chairman Lister.
Thank you, Ashlee, for having me on our third episode.
Number 3.
Yeah, first of 2024. We just, as I said, stay in your lane. We're just slowly getting out our episodes. The first one, if you remember, helmet safety. We had in a guest who spoke about his experience of accident and how a helmet saved him from getting far more damage than what he could have had.
And if you guys remember, there was a lot of damage.
It would. And then the second episode was life insurance and how when we get on the roads, car, bike, commercial truck, delivery driver, whatever you're doing, we don't always think about what can happen and what can go wrong. And if there is a fatality, how will your family cope without that main income earner? So life insurance is a way to not just protect your family, but also to protect your income.
Yep.
If something happens. And here we are now, episode 3.
And what are we talking about today?
We're talking about alcohol and how it can impact you driving or riding. And so as we say, don't drink and drive. We're going to hone in on that in this episode. We will have a guest from Focus Counseling. They are a counseling service that works with those with alcohol addiction, and not just alcohol addiction, any other substance. And then we will have another person come on that will tell their story of an experience of alcohol and the road. So we have a good show lined up on this episode. Yes.
All right. Well, you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back after these messages. Did you know that according to the TCD Traffic Code Handbook, to all users of the road Section 4 states, before using the road, be sure that your alertness or sense of caution is not affected by alcohol or fatigue. A fraction of a second may make all the difference in avoiding an accident. If you cannot give the necessary concentration, you are risking not only your own life, but the lives of others. This message is brought to you by the Bermuda Road Safety Council. Welcome back to Stay in Your Lane with Ashlee Battersbee.
Welcome back, everybody, to Stay in Your Lane podcast. I'm joined here in studio with our first guest, Mr. Leslie Grand of Focus Counseling Services. Welcome, Mr. Grand. It's good to have you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'm glad to be here.
So for those who have never maybe heard of Focus Counseling Services, tell us a little bit about it.
So Focus Counseling Services is a substance use disorder treatment agency. We provide treatment for alcohol and other substance use, dependence in particular. We also provide an impaired driving education program as well.
Okay, so obviously you know a little bit about alcohol and the effects on the body and then the effects on driving. So
Sure.
give people a little dibble-dabble about that. Just so because you know how people get behind the wheel and they think they know what they're doing?
Understood.
Yeah.
So alcohol is a nervous system depressant, which means that it slows down your bodily functions. And so your judgment would be way off 9 times out of 10. And so any amount of alcohol, even one drink, can impair your judgment. So the average drink is 0.02. So at 0.02, your judgment is slightly impaired. And that's normally the first thing to go. And of course, you know that when you're driving, things can happen in a split second, you know. So not just alcohol can impair a person's driving ability. Opiates in particular, like heroin, even prescription opiates such as things like Percocet and so on, can also impair a person's ability to drive because they are also nervous system depressants.
Right, and some medications even say on the label, like do not operate
heavy machinery or do not drive.
It's for that exactly.
And it's for those particular reasons, because it does impair your motor skills, right? And in turn, your judgment. Also, substances like stimulants can also make it very unsafe to drive. Person could be edgy or extra nervous. Other substances can unfortunately even produce episodes of paranoia, which would definitely could make it really unsafe to drive. When we think of impaired driving, a lot of times we just think alcohol,
Yep.
but there are so many other substances that persons may take daily, may even prescribe medications, can affect a person's ability to drive, which is why, as you mentioned, a lot of them say don't operate heavy machinery. And of course, vehicles, in particular cars and bikes,
Right.
fall into that category as well.
Even if you feel okay,
Yeah.
you're not
And
necessarily.
9 times out of 10, a person may even feel okay, but their judgment is impaired. We do a few exercises in our impaired driving class, and people are like, whoa, I didn't realize that. So we have some goggles that kind of simulate impaired driving.
Oh, wow, okay.
Not so much the feeling part, but how it appears to the individual.
Right.
In the brain, not from the eyes, but in the brain, what the impairment feels like
Right.
is more so, what that does.
But you obviously don't see.
No, you don't see it, but you feel it, or you're unable to react in time. Minister Lister shared stats, about accidents earlier. And a lot of times, just listening to some stats earlier today, and some stats I am aware of, a lot of the collisions or accidents are due to inattention and things like that. Inattention for different reasons, some impaired and maybe some not, just not paying attention, and so on and so on.
Right. And of course, most of those people probably thought, I'm fine.
Sure.
I can get him. Where their friends probably should have been like, no, I'm going to take your keys, and we're not going to do that because it's a risk. We don't want anybody driving to be killed, and we don't want them to kill anybody else.
Exactly. We've heard many stories from people that said, I felt fine, or I was okay, or even I was okay till I turned into my own gate.
Right.
Right. It might sound kind of odd, but there was that level of impairment that may have been there, that was there, and the person didn't really realize it and wasn't,
And in those cases, thankfully, they actually made it to their gate. And,
Thankfully. Thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for that information. That was some
No problem.
stuff. So for people who, maybe this struck a nerve and they want to maybe reach out or have a family member reach out, how can they get in contact with you guys?
So we can be contacted at 296-2196. That's our main line. Or if you'd like to email us, it can be info.focus@focus.bm. Or you can visit our website, focus.bm, to have a look around. Or you can send a message through our contact page as well.
Okay, thank you very much. And you have all the information. So if you feel like you need to reach out, there is absolutely no shame. We'd rather you live. So please reach out. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back after these messages. Did you know that drowsiness is similar to alcohol in how it compromises driving ability by reducing alertness and attentiveness, delaying reaction times, and hindering decision-making skills? This message is brought to you by the Bermuda Road Safety Council. Welcome back to Stay in Your Lane with Ashlee Battersbee.
Welcome back, everyone. We're still here with Leslie Graham from Focus Counseling Services. And you know what I was thinking? People really just seem to enjoy playing with fire these days because their sobriety checks are out. You shouldn't be behind the wheel while you're drunk. But yet you see people in the bars throwing back the drinks, throwing back the shots, and then still walking out to their vehicles to drive themselves home. And sometimes their friends as well.
Sure.
Isn't that just, what is happening?
Well, it is very alarming. One of the things that we've kind of looked at is, one, a lot of folks think that it's not going to happen to me, or I feel fine, so I should be fine, and those types of things. In Bermuda also, we have a very, what I like to call an unhealthy relationship with substance use, period. Yep. And so not just alcohol, other substances as well, illicit substances, even other legal substances. In particular, we spoke earlier about prescription medication. A lot of times those can be misused. But most folks probably feel that it's not going to happen to me, or just the whole risk of taking the chances. I'll go another way. let me know if you see the man when you go up the road.
Right,
and, you know, and all those types of things that may come up. And just a lot of times folks' willingness or need to escape or get away. So that can sometimes overpower rational thinking. Remember, we talked earlier about judgment being impaired. So our judgment is where we make our common sense decisions. The part of the brain, our frontal lobe, is where we make our common sense decisions.
And all the alcohol silences.
And so our judgment becomes impaired. And the more we drink, of course, the more impaired a person can become. And in turn, start to make decisions that really make absolutely no sense to maybe to the average person or even to themselves. But because of being under the influence of something, be extra willing to take those chances because of the impairment and also lowered inhibitions as well.
Yep, that sounds about right. I mean, the impaired judgment is evident in the amount of accidents that we see reported back. You know, over some periods of time, they're like, oh, there's X amount, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
that's it's just so irresponsible.
And one of the things that I'm not sure if it's captured, and maybe that's a conversation that can be held at a later date, is how many of our fatalities are substance use related, and what substances. And I could be wrong, and I stand to be corrected, but I don't believe we really do a very good job in Bermuda of collecting that data. You know, there is some data that is taken, but I'm not sure if we share it openly enough that you know, one could make make it a little more real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Impact people.
Because, you know, somebody has a road collision and passes away. Not necessarily that person that was hit or whatever may have been under the influence, but somebody else could have swerved, made them swerve. You know, number of things could happen.
Right. Contribute.
You know, and not sure if we're really capturing some of that data when it comes to our collisions, period. But definitely our fatalities, so that, you know, we could better prepare people or even provide some prevention from a different angle.
Like use it as a wake-up call.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because like you said, a lot of people are like, well, it's not going to happen to me because it hasn't happened to me. But then when it does happen to you.
Sure.
You know?
One of the things that people don't know, in the U.S., because I only have information in particular for the U.S., the average person that has an impaired driving offense drives 2,000 times before they get caught or have an episode or accident or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So in Bermuda, I kind of, when you say at least 200 times a person has driven or would drive on average before they have an accident or an impaired driving offense.
Wow.
So it appears very common that people will take that chance. You know, it's not going to happen to me. I'm just 10 minutes up the road. And we've all heard situations how things can happen in seconds, really.
Literally, yeah.
You know, glimpse your eyes off the road and or not really be paying attention, you know, and just, you know, find yourself in an awkward situation.
Yeah, exactly. And a situation that you can't change.
For sure.
You know,
For
because
sure.
you can't give somebody their life back, which is, you know, obviously what we're trying to avoid.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. My goodness. Well, everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back after these messages. Did you know that difficulty focusing, frequent blinking, or heavy eyelids can be signs of sleep-deprived driving? If while driving a vehicle you find that drowsiness is overtaking you, stop your vehicle and do not attempt to start it again until you are wide awake. This message is brought to you by the Bermuda Road Safety Council. Welcome back to Stay in Your Lane with Ashlee Battersbee.
Welcome back, everybody. As you know, our topic today is impaired driving under the influence. And I am now joined by Mr. Sherwin Hollis. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So Mr. Hollis has been through the DUI program, and he has very graciously agreed to come and share his experience. So why don't you tell us how you got where you are today?
Well, I'll tell you how I got in the DUI program. I was to a party and with a friend, you know, and I decided I was going to catch the bus in because I knew everybody was drunk.
Right.
You know? And I watched them change from when they were sober and starting to drink, and I can actually see people transform. But they decided they wanted to go to another party at Battersbee Club. So I decided I'm going to go catch the bus, you know. But somewhere in there, I felt that I was kind of going to miss something. And sometimes grandiosity pops up and there's females around and look,
Right.
this. And
You don't want to miss that.
so I went with them to Battersbee, and I was trying to get them to leave. And as they were leaving, they had what we so-called almost a driver. And on back home, you know, we almost got in an accident. And it was so funny that the police didn't stop the car there,
Oh.
you know. So we came back from a party, and the driver that was driving drove and to her destination and where it was going. And the other people, the other females in the car, they were really drunk, you know. Me, like everybody else, thinking that I wasn't intoxicated like damn.
Right.
So I'm capable of taking the wheel.
Gotcha.
You know, I never had any judgment or assessment as to what my impairment might have been like. I just took the wheel according to how the other people
Because you felt like you were better than they were.
Yeah, I felt that I was in a better position than them to drive.
Right.
You know? And I was in the gas station and I saw the police car. And I came out of the gas station, and the minute I sat in the car, they came, you know, and they arrested me.
Right there.
But the amazing thing is that when they went and gave me the breathalyzer and told me how much alcohol was in my blood, you know, I had no idea. You know, I just thought I was capable of driving, and most of us do that.
Yep.
You know, and when you start asking the things as to why people do things, because I found out in the past few years, because I'm still involved with 12-step programs, recovery, you know, because I have to do these things in order to stay clean.
Right.
But the amazing thing is that a lot of people don't want to find out about themselves. You know, why people? Because they know that the police are going to be out. They know that they're drunk. They know that they're leaving them to be drunk, you know. And most men, because of grandiosity, we're not going to leave a party and catch the bus.
Right.
You know, and then you're not going to be all dressed up and, you know, just go catch a taxi, you know, or walk to where you got to go. So we drive and we ignore things, you know, and any mind when stuff gets like that, you know, through learning about myself, is that there's a lot of hidden issues as to why we're like that. And one of the things is that we're just plain damn selfish.
That is very true.
You know, we're really selfish people at times when we do these things because we don't care about ourselves nor the other person. You know, but to find that out, you have to have strength or a better spirit. Better spirit in order to want to find things about yourself and be honest about yourself.
Right. And you found that in the program.
Yes. And one thing about DUI, you know, when I went into DUI, because I had other issues that, you know, to deal with. So it was the course that I had chosen in my life. You know, today I'm a much more spiritual man. I believe in God, you know. And when I look at all the things, all the falling down in the bathrooms, I haven't had an accident or anything on the road, but falling down in the bathrooms, falling off the bike in the yard, you know, busting my mouth, you know, all these type of things, forgetting where I'm going. Didn't know how I got in, wondering the next day how I made it there.
Wow.
You know, and today I believe that was all through the grace of God.
Amen.
You know, and a lot of us are playing Russian roulette with that. you know, because God is good and God will look after you. But at some point, you can go too far away and somebody's going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Now, the DUI program, I chose to take that program because we came to a point that there's got to be something wrong with me,
Right.
you know?
Right. And not everybody can
I
recognize
didn't
that.
grow up under undisciplined parents, you know, or family.
Mm-hmm.
I had them things, you know, but society gives it when you reach an age now. You develop your own stuff.
Right.
And we forget principles.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, the spiritual principles is what we lose.
Mm-hmm.
So we lose value
Right. And we change the image.
for life
Yeah.
and for other people, you know. And the DUI program, you know, when I went through there, it was fortunate because I wanted to be better. You know, a failed relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you know, marriage, all these type of things. And just because of my gender, you know, I done things a lot of ways. But in the DUI program, it's important if you decide to take the DUI program, you have to give the program a chance.
Right.
You know, and I've been in there, I've seen a lot of people go in there and they're just going there to go through the course, go through the process, come back out, drink again,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But if you sit down and listen to the counselor, I was fortunate, you know. I had a very good counselor, female, young lady, way younger than me, you know, but she gave me good information and she challenged me. The DUI program challenged you if you give it a chance because they don't tell you not to drink again.
Right.
The DEI program, the counselors don't tell you you're not going to drink again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a choice to go through it, come back up as soon as you finish, go drink. You have a choice not to make it. You know, nobody forced you to go in there. But if you sit down and work that program, you're going to find something about yourself, you know. And most of the time, it's a lot of weakness and negativity.
Right.
that
People
you're
run
gonna
away
find
from
out.
that.
And people run away from that.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't want to believe that the stuff and the places that we go and the people that we get around to do these type of activities that's going to let you get in your car and drive drunk, they don't want to believe, you know, the actual truth about this way of living, you know?
Right.
And so it's a weakness, you know? And the DUI program is put there as an opportunity, you know? And it's not there for just to have a slap on the back, which most people use it for.
Right.
So I went in that program and I listened, you know, and I done the homework, you know. I went in this program and I said, you know, I've entered the program. And I said, I'm going to go through this program with all the sanctions, you know. And the counselor told me, there's no way. There's no way. Nobody goes through this program without a sanction.
Oh, what's a sanction?
Well, you done something wrong or you didn't do something you're supposed to be or you missed your curfew, you know,
Okay.
or, you know, and things like that.
Got you.
You got a curfew,
Right.
you know, in the program.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And-
Which should basically tell you don't expect perfection from yourself because it's a learning process.
Well, because it's been known, but me, that when I look, is that this became an opportunity for me, you know, an opportunity to see if I can stand by myself, you know, as an individual,
Right.
you know, because the only reason I went to bars and parties and all them things is because I want to be like somebody or I want to be around like-minded people,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and because if I don't drink, I felt that I'm going to stand out, you know, and that's been my life for many years, you know, but I found so many things out about myself in this program.
Okay.
Reasons why my relationships weren't working. The reason when I thought that I was cool, drop a rap on a female and all them type of things, come find out from my counselor and through the program, right? That I wasn't all that. And what happens is that the DUI program doesn't focus on your alcohol totally, you know? They focus on the individual. They focus on trying to make people change, trying to make people decide that they don't have to drink.
Right.
You know, they can still enjoy themselves. They can still do things, but you got to find some stuff out about yourself. You know, the things that you're lacking, boundaries, responsibility. You know, people work every day, and that's, you know, that's nothing gigantic. That's a norm.
Right.
You know, and that's why we call people normal. These are normal people. You know, they're functionable.
Right.
They're functionable. You know, so, and we get that in our head, and we're functionable, so we can do what we do all the time because we're functional people, and it's going to be all right. You know, but if you do the literature, do the work, listen to the concepts in the DUI program, they're going to make you find out things about yourself, you know, and you're going to find out that you lack in a lot of areas, you know, and selfishness, closed-mindedness, you know, and things like that, you know, those are the essence of drunk and driving, you know, and it's unfortunate it's a life, but through the grace of God, you know, I'm hurt because I ended up in the hospital,
Oh, wow.
paralyzed, you know, and so I had some time, you know, I had this problem with my stomach, couldn't understand it. It took me to go to the hospital to really say, you know, that
Open your eyes.
I got to deal with something. But I couldn't stop doing the things that I was doing, especially drinking. I couldn't do that because I've been doing it all my life.
Right.
You know, football, you know, all that. That was the norm. That you drank. You know?
It's like the culture in Bermuda. It's just so like a part of what we do as entertainment.
Yeah, well, that's
Easily accessible, and then people abuse it, and then they wind up on the wrong side of it.
we lose more, and we pick the morals of the street up, you know, and that's okay, and it's mainly because of selfishness and ignorance, you know, and which is a virtue, you know. But how many people? I'm fortunate because I do 12-step programs, you know, and the things that happened that I had to do in the DUI program, you know, stripped me from my whole way of thinking. And people that don't want to stay in the DUI program is because they don't want to find out about themselves.
And they don't want to change.
Exactly. You know, and they're not open to learn.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm 66 years old. I'm 4 years clean now. You know, so I in my 60s when I ran in this thing. A young lady like you know, was my counselor. You know, and she telling me stuff, you know, where normally I would look at this lady telling me,
Right.
you know, this, you know, but I had to go home and put the work in and do the homework and find out for myself. And it's painful. That's why people don't do stuff. That's why people don't change, because it's too painful.
Yep.
You know,
Stay in that
because
comfort
if it's one thing, and Mr. Grant shared it, but said it in a different way, that when you want to change stuff, you got to change everything. You know, and some people just don't want to do that.
Yep.
You know, I never knew how it was going to be, but the DUI program, and I haven't had a drink since. And I don't have the desire
That's good.
to drink. But what I do have now, right, is a spiritual essence about my life. And God is the key to it. So, and going through the DEI has helped me to connect with my higher power, which is God. You know, I do believe in that. And I stick with that. And through that, it's helped me to start going and visiting and joining things that's going to help me to live like that. Because I never thought, especially like how I grew up, and, you know, my football friends and, you know, people and, you know, family, all them, I never thought that I can be me without them, without chasing and doing everything that they're doing. And everything in Bermuda involves alcohol.
Right, yeah.
If it ain't no alcohol, it ain't a party.
Right.
But that's a myth.
Right. some people think it's like a part of their identity, and if I don't have that,
that's
who am I?
Some people don't go to a party if you say you ain't gonna have alcohol.
Yeah, that's true.
But when you want to stop drinking, right? People, places, and things. I learned all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a factor. It doesn't say places, things, and then people. It says people, places, and things. People first.
Mm-hmm.
People first. You know? And you're gonna drive because of the influence of each other. If you go out and you party, somebody's gonna drive.
Right, exactly. And nobody wants to be the one that's not drinking.
Yeah, because people like to see you making a fool of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so sometimes you have to eliminate some people because life, I tell you, life is valuable. And that doctor took, the doctor at the hospital said to me, he said, Mr. Hollis, I'm not going to tell you not to drink, but I'm going to advise you that you shouldn't drink again.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said, he's not telling me not to drink, I'm still drinking. Yeah, I could drink.
Right.
But through the DUI program and all that helped me to realize that I don't need that in my life, And today, with people like Mr. Grant and, counselors and, programs and stuff is available everywhere.
Mm-hmm. You have that support out there.
But you got to give up self and start caring about other people.
Mm-hmm.
The DUI taught me how to be responsible. I'm married today. Because of the things that I learned in DUI about myself.
Nice.
I learned how to respect the female.
Mm-hmm.
Still get mad as hell sometimes at you, but that's life.
Gonna happen. Yeah.
That's life. But I'm living life clean.
Right. With different perspective, different mindset.
Living life clean. And so the DUI program showed me how to hold bondage, showed me about bondage, they showed me how life can be like and how happy and joyous and free you can be without substances, or mind-altering substances. And people, they don't want to look at it like that. They just say alcohol.
Right.
But alcohol is a mind-altering substance. You take one drink of alcohol and you change.
And it takes one.
You change. I don't care. You may not see it yourself, but you can guarantee the person sitting beside you sees it. And if they don't see it because they look just like you,
Yeah,
and that's why we keep going to the same places, And today I'll say that's a sign of weakness,
Right.
It's each one person help one person, and eventually we just come. Somebody take the party away from the party.
Right.
And put it somewhere else. We just keep going back to the same stuff, and the same thing gonna happen.
Okay.
And we're gonna continuously die.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Yeah, I live clean, and I'm still gonna swear about it today.
Yeah.
But I never say, look at that fool anymore.
Right, because you see it
thank
differently.
God, thank God. He didn't it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm living clean. That was my life.
Right.
That was my life.
Right.
And I'm proud of richer and freer life today because of concepts like Mr. Grant, people like Mr. Grant, the DUI program, And as a matter of fact, he brought me here because I always go back and visit, and I must do that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been for a couple of months, but I always go back to this and show up to try to support the other people.
Right.
That's coming into the deep.
Right, because you never know, how your story could affect and help somebody who's just starting out that maybe things I don't think I want to commit.
But you know what? You know what it is? Life changed in people, right? It's not so much saying things to people. It's being that attraction.
Right.
Being that attraction of living clean, not drinking alcohol.
Right. And still having a great life.
People see it. People see it. And so people distance. And for people like me, DUI has given me this opportunity to start being an attraction to other people and the young people.
And show them it's possible.
Because so much of my life was automatic to be around that sort of stuff.
Right.
So I'm just grateful for God, and I hope that somebody somewhere will be an individual at some point, you know, and don't drink and drive.
I agree.
You might hit me.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah.
None of us wish to be hit. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Hollis. That was your experience was definitely, I'm sure, helped somebody, touched somebody. And I hope that it encourages somebody to maybe enter the DUI program if they're thinking about it and to see it through because, as you can see, everyone, it's very possible. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Hollis, for coming on the show and sharing your experience. I hope that it touches somebody and encourages them to follow your path. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope that you look forward to our next episode. Drive safe, Bermuda. Okay, bye.
Thanks for watching. We hope that you have enjoyed the show. See you next time.